What to say and how to say it, using words and images to craft your email messages. Thanks for joining me. Welcome. My name is Danna Crawford. I'm also known as Power Selling Mom. So some quick info about me. I know a lot of you don't know who I am. I'm actually an authorized local expert with Constant Contact. I've been using their service since 2006. And they actually contacted me to become their authorized local expert. I do webinars and local workshops in the Ocala, Florida area. I'll be in Jacksonville tomorrow and the rest of this week. So, excuse me, if anybody's from the Jacksonville area would like to attend one of my workshops, they're free. Just shoot me an email and I'll send you the information. So I also teach eBay, and I do workshops on eBay. I've been an eBay seller since 1997, so about 20 years. eBay is my livelihood. And also I do things with our food bank. So enough about me. I don't want to bore you, but you can just Google my name, Danna Crawford, but you're also going to receive a follow-up email that has all of my information. So I don't want to bore you today. Let me just take a minute to explain about what Constant Contact is. I know some of you are brand new. Constant Contact is a do-it-yourself online marketing system, and you can use it to create and manage campaigns. The company is best known for its email marketing tools. It's easy to create and send mass emails like newsletters, announcements, and updates. You can run special promotions or offers, and you can build online surveys and polls that will gather feedback and valuable information. And you can promote and manage your events using the Constant Contact registration forms. And I use those for all my events. And all of this is built on top of a really good contact database. So you can load all of your contacts, your customers, volunteers, staff, board, whatever lists you're keeping in various spreadsheets or from your Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo. You can be easily uploaded and organized into Constant Contact so that when you're ready to do your marketing, all your campaigns are, your people are all in one spot. And it costs between $20 and $75 a month. The average is about $45, so it just depends on which bells and whistles you go with. So I am here for you if you need some assistance taking a deeper look in that. So I want to give you a simple definition or framework of what marketing really is. You already know generally what it is, but when I say the word marketing, I mean something very specific, and it's important that we're all on the same page here. So my definition of marketing has three simple parts. You define an audience, which is a group of people that you want to target. And number two, you reach out to them with a message that is specific to that audience. And then you receive a physical and measurable response, which are the results you want and need for our business to get. So what kind of results are we talking about? So let's go into this. The results, these are examples of physical and measurable results. These actions represent a decision made by a person to do something in response to what you put out there. It's not a mechanical response, it's a human response, and it must be measurable. So, but keep in mind that your overall goals come back to why you're in business and what's going to keep you in business. And that is to generate revenue, or for those that are here as nonprofits, to seek donations. So if the responses you're getting don't lead in some way directly to that bottom line, then you should evaluate why you're driving those types of responses. So today I'm going to talk about the content you can share, whether it's written or images, that can drive the response you need to help get your business or organization on track. So content is currency on the internet, and it works offline too, actually. When it comes to content, you have an advantage over big businesses and organizations because you can use their tools and tips, and I'm going to talk about today. So we have a real connection with our customers. clients, members, volunteers. You can also use their feedback and questions to come up with new content. So content is what people search for, consume, and share. It's what they pay attention to. So through the content you email to your audience, you can become a source that your customers, your clients, members, and volunteers like and trust. So as we progress through this presentation, I want you to think about the conversations you have with your customers or clients. What kind of questions do they ask you? How can you use those questions and conversations to create a great email? So now let's tackle the big question. What kind of content should you use in your email? Email content basically boils down to a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. Email content is made up of the words and images and video you can use in your email campaigns that is designed to attract, convert, and retain an audience. So when you're sending out an email to the people on your contact list, you want to make sure it's relevant and interesting and includes a clear call to action, meaning the response you're seeking to receive from your readers, whether that's buying a product, taking your advice, signing up for a service, referring you to friends, donating to your nonprofit, answering your survey, or whatever action you're hoping that they take. You can make that action easily accessible by including links to whatever you want your audience to do. So here's an example of an email from a company called Great Vacation Retreats. At the top of the message, they have a great picture that prominently features their brand, a text block that announces their deal, a paragraph that describes it, and a link, which is a call to action for readers to view their available vacation rentals. Even if they didn't list the individual rentals in the email, they'd have more than enough information that communicates the action they want their audience to take, which is to book a rental in Hawaii. And as a bonus, the approach that Great Vacation Retreats took with this email is it's mobile friendly. It's a single column template. There's not too much text and it's not too long. The email will look great no matter what the reader opens it on, whether it's on mobile or it's on desktop. Now, remember when you're thinking about content that you'll create from scratch, you're not writing for yourself. You're writing for your audience. So make your message relevant, short, and focused. Your email shouldn't be telling recipients everything that you do, and it should include too much information. You can make it relevant to your audience by thinking about the conversations you've had with your clients, your customers, your members. After an interaction, you may want to jot some ideas down that can help you expand on that topic. Now, I've mentioned relevance a few times now, and here's why. It's important that you include content that's for your audience, not for you. 38% of email recipients will unsubscribe if they think the content in your email is boring or irrelevant. And when a person unsubscribes, you won't be able to communicate with them again. 32% will send irrelevant content to their spam folders, which could impact how email providers like Gmail or Yahoo sort your future messages. Now here's what we're going to talk about. First, we'll talk about creating content, how you come up with ideas and the words, images, calls to action you'll use in your email marketing. And we'll also talk about curating content, how to find and share content from outside sources that you can use in your marketing. And we'll also talk about extending your reach beyond your email by using social media, my favorite topic. And then we'll talk about how you can get started developing content ideas for your own organization or company. So first, let me talk about content that you create. Now, what do you write about in your emails? Think about this for a minute. This is one of the biggest questions and the biggest hurdles people encounter when they set out to create an email. So we sit down, we want to create our email. The good news is that you know your organization better than anyone, and there's a world of ideas there for you. First, and above all else, you write about what you know and what they don't know. So this is an opportunity to share your knowledge and raise your profile as an interesting organization and an expert in your field. So here are some ideas of the types of content you can share with your audience. Take a minute to look at what's on the screen right now and be thinking of ways you can explore these ideas with content about your business. So let's talk about a few of them. Offerings. If you have a new product, you can write a paragraph describing what it does and use photos or videos to share a quick product demonstration or a tutorial. If you have an event coming up, send out all the details in a short email and include a link to register for the event. Updates. Do you have a new location? Have you hired a new employee, or do you have a well-known employee retiring? Send out a biography and a photo to your customers and clients. Updates can go out in the form of a newsletter or even a press release. Perhaps you're a nonprofit and you've received a big grant. That's a perfect reason to send out an email update. Did you have a recent event? Send out a survey asking recipients how it was, or send an email to share photos of the event. And then we have education. You are an expert in your field. Claim it, be it. Write about what you know that your audience doesn't. This is your opportunity to weigh in with your perspective on a study or a news story. If you sell a product, you can make a video that demonstrates how to use it. I know we have some travel agents here, and if you have been to a place, you want to share your experience. You can also share your know-how. Let's say you own a landscaping company. You can send out an email early in the spring and lay out a good planting schedule for your clients. And then we have entertainment. Don't be afraid to show your fun side. Have you seen a funny YouTube video that relates to your field? Or have you heard an interesting, funny, or inspiring quote that you want to share? Maybe you and your employees have made a cool behind-the-scenes video. That is something that could really show off your environment and your personality. Also, don't forget about those seasonal updates. Is there a way you can incorporate a holiday or seasonal message? Let's say you own a bed and breakfast at the beach. In the dead of winter, send a photo of your property under warm sunshine and ask your customers to think about planning their summer getaway. Or maybe you work for a tax preparation. Thanksgiving would be a great time to let your clients know how to account for any charitable giving so they're ready for tax season in the new year. Now let's talk about how much content you should include in your email. Think about it. How often do you look forward to reading a long, detailed email from a business that goes on and on and on and on? Not very often, right? So you're looking for something concise and easy to read. What's the news? What are the details of the deal or sale? Is there any action I want or I need to take? And that's what you should think about when you create your own emails. When it comes to email content, less is always more. There is no rule that says your newsletter needs to have 3 articles, 3 pictures, and 3 links. One thing is plenty. There is actually a constant contact customer whose newsletter is called One Thing. And he did it to make it easy on himself, and it works really well. People can absorb it, and he's not under the gun to come up with a bunch of content to fill in. So we did a study of our customers and found that the best practice is to limit yourself to 20 lines of text and 3 or fewer images. So just like you, your audience is busy, and you don't need to worry about sending a ton of information every time you send out a newsletter or an announcement. So our research shows that one link gets the best click-through rate. When you want your audience to take an action, so use a link that makes that clear. So 2 lines are okay, but once you get to 3 links, the click-through rate starts to decline. Any higher than 5 links means that people are less likely to click anywhere in your email because it's so overwhelming. So try to stick with only 1 or 2 clicks and keep them high in your message so people do not have to scroll all over the place to figure out what kind of action to take. And don't forget that more than half of your audience is reading email on a mobile device. Who is going to scroll through 14 articles on your phone? I know I'm not. And you want to keep this in mind. And for your mobile readers, of course, and make sure that you're keeping messages short and your call to action above the fold, meaning readers don't have to scroll all over to find the important content. Or I hate that pinch and slide and zoom and with my fingers. It's so annoying. So even if the idea of creating content still feels daunting, remember, keeping your messages short and focused is actually much better than putting tons and tons of information into one email. You can use outlines to help you further focus your ideas and organize the sections of your email. So any text you'll write yourself, any photos or videos you want to use, and any content from outside sources that you want to share. Now I'll talk about content and curation in a few minutes, but jot down a list of topics that come up in conversations with your customers, your members, your clients, your volunteers, donors, and use those to spark ideas for email campaigns. If you get 5 questions from your clients, that's 5 separate email topics that you can build on. And what I actually do is I keep a Word document, and as I get questions in my emails so that I don't forget, of course I answer them right away, but I put those questions on a list in my Word document, and then I save those. And when it comes to email marketing day, I can pull up that list and choose what kind of content to create. It really helps. So jot down conversations and show your expertise in your field. Become a knowledgeable resource for your audience, and they will look forward to emails from you. And make your messages reflect your brand, of course. This is easy to do with email tools like Constant Contact. We won't get into email design today, but you can visit the website for great design tips and tricks to make your emails look visually fantastic. And also, I am here for you. If you would like some assistance for creating an email template, I'd love to jump on a call with you and help you get that set up. All right, so let's talk about turning your interactions with your customers, your clients, your members, supporters, volunteers into content for your email. So here's how it goes. Think for a second about the last conversation you had with someone at your organization. What questions did a customer or client have? What information are people requesting about your nonprofit? Can you turn an answer to their questions into an email? So here are some great examples. One easy way to practice this in real life is to create the 2 columns. In a spreadsheet or a document or just on a piece of paper with the questions you regularly get on the left, and then in the right column, write down a way that you can turn the answers to those questions into an email full of fresh, relevant content. It definitely works. And in my follow-up email, I'm actually going to send you a link to my transcripts, and you'll be able to copy all of this information. Forgive me for not saying that sooner. So you will receive a direct link to all the transcripts and the replay. Okay, so I want to show you the difference between a regular email from your own Outlook Gmail, or Yahoo account, and one sent through an email service provider like Constant Contact. An email from a service provider looks better and gets you noticed. You can use it to feature your brand's logo and colors and include graphics that will capture your reader's attention. All of this, including the graphics, comprises email content. So with the combination of text and great images, you will get through to your audience. And from a purely legal and practical perspective, an email service provider will help protect your messages from being considered spam. So check out the email on the right. The colors and the graphics make the message eye-catching and more professional looking than the one on the left, right? The one on the left, boring. When I get emails like that on the left, I don't even read it. I just skim through to look for the links and see what I'm supposed to pay attention to, and then if I have time, otherwise it doesn't get opened or read. So as a matter of fact, and this might be a relief for those suffering from writer's block, great content doesn't have to be written at all. Visual content like photos, videos, graphics, and word images make a huge impact on an email inbox. So did you know that 90% of information processed by the brain is visual content, and more than half of consumers believe that images are an important factor when buying? Excuse me. Visuals are important to your business because they influence customer purchasing decisions. 67% of consumers believe that images are a very important factor when selecting and purchasing a product. So you can use photos to show off your product or shots from a recent event, and you can link to videos to show your organization in action or a product demonstration. Word images, which would be a brief phrase, a statistic, or a quote over a background image, are a great way to share information in an eye-catching way. And creating visual content is easier than ever these days. Almost anyone with a smartphone has the ability to shoot high-quality photos and videos. You don't need too much time or a huge marketing budget to create compelling images anymore. You've got the technology right there in your pocket. So now I'm dying for some chocolate. All right. So you've heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words. In your email, you can communicate through images as well as text, as mentioned. So turn your images into clickable links so that when your readers click on the image, they'll be directed to the action you want them to take. Just make sure you also include a text link to the same location, because about 67% of email readers will not see images by default. So email tools like Constant Contact make it easy to assign a URL to your image, and also to add alt, which is ALT text, alt text, so that a description of the image appears even if the reader doesn't see the email. So it's important to add those alt text. Side note, try to avoid giving too many choices in your campaign. These are supposed to be quick decisions to act. Clicking to shop in your online store or selecting an item and clicking to buy. Too many choices will reduce the number of decisions, the actions a person can take, and it's actually a time limit thing. Think of your campaigns as window shopping. You want to entice someone to come right then and there and buy because of whatever got their attention. So when you're using images in your marketing, you're faced with the task of creating that content, deciding which images are best, and determining their content and the story around them. That's a lot to think about, and you're probably wondering where to begin. So let me give you some direction. Images can be found around your business, your environment and what's around you, your expertise, and themes that you decide your audience will love. You don't have to have a product to sell to include visual content in your emails. If you have a new employee, feature their video with a caption explaining who they are and what they'll bring to your business. If you're a nonprofit, Share photos of a recent event or a graphic showing the progress of a fundraising campaign. Those are good ideas. Now, photos are a frequent and necessary piece of visual content. Sometimes you may find you need a photo that you do not have or cannot create on your own. So there are a variety of online stock photo sites where you can search for just the right photo that fits your needs. They are a great resource, and you can work well for visual content that's based around a theme, a tip, a fact, or a quote. So when you download a photo, be sure it's on the right side or slightly larger, right size, excuse me. You can always crop it or scale it down, but you will lose image quality if you try to enlarge a small photo. It may be tempting, but it's never a good idea to use just any image you find through a search, including sample stock photos with a watermark on them. I saw someone sent me an email the other day, and it had a photo, beautiful photo, and then in dull print you could see stock image across it. So that means that they lifted it from somewhere and didn't pay for it. So there can be copyright issues associated with those images. They actually belong to someone else. When using stock photos, you purchase the rights to use the photo, or in some cases a free download, and then you agree to the certain credit conditions. Fees can vary, so you can shop around for what feels right for you and fits your budget. So here are some services you can use to get free stock photos. Constant Contact customers have access to over 12 million images using Big Stock. But even if you aren't a customer, Big Stock offers a free trial for new users if you want to try it out. Excuse me. So there's many out there: Big Stock, Stock Vault, free images, free digital photos, and so on. So you just want to make sure that you're using photos that are approved or you have permission. Excuse me. Video. Let's not forget video. Video is a powerful way to engage with your audience. People prefer watching a video, actually, than reading long web pages full of text. So when using video, make sure you mention in your subject line that your email includes a video, so your readers know right away about it. Actually, I sent an email the other day and I forgot to do that. Darn. Consumers prefer watching a video to reading long text articles. So in fact, 50% of people are more likely to read emails that include a video. And make sure the length of your video is within 90 seconds. So that's the point at which 58% of viewers will stop watching. But make sure, you can make videos work for your business. Use it to show product demos, customer testimonials, promotional materials, or share user-generated content. So we're talking about emails today, but video is becoming more prominent on social media. 84% of consumers have liked videos from companies in their social media news feeds. If you email a video link, you can also repurpose it on your social media platforms for that audience to watch and share. The example here is a great way to use video. The Pajama program sent this email out with a link to a video thanking their donors. Just remember to keep videos short. I know I've said it a few times already, but your audience is very busy, just like us. Videos should be about 90 seconds or less. Make sure you're using video in a careful, deliberate way. If you have some specific action that you want your readers to take, for example, to register for an event, you should choose text and pictures rather than video. Using a video in that case will lessen the likelihood that your readers will take action because they'll click on the video and be taken over to YouTube. So keep that in mind. And then the bad thing about that is when they go directly to YouTube, then sometimes you want to pay attention because more ads can show up on the right, so there could be competitors showing up on the right. If possible, I would recommend creating your video and uploading it to your web page, and then taking them to your web page to view the video, so that way you don't have the competition. All right, so now let's talk about curating content, which means finding and distributing content that is relevant, educational, entertaining, and newsworthy. At this point, you might be feeling overwhelmed, thinking you have to think up all infinite ideas to create content from scratch. So that's not the case at all. We know you don't have any time to spare in the operation of your small organization. So the great news is that you can curate content, which means that you can find content created by others and share it with your email contacts. So think about a curator at an art museum. That person uses their expertise to collect and present artwork from many different sources and arrange them in a way that's educational and organized. They're not responsible for painting every canvas. Your curated content could be a link to a news article related to your organization with a brief paragraph, including your perspective. The example on your screen is of a cycling company sharing their favorite headlines in cycling news for a weekly newsletter. All they had to do was write a brief introduction and then link to the articles. Your audience will come to rely on you as an expert in your field. So let's say you run an animal shelter and you come across an article about coyotes in your area. You can introduce that link by giving some helpful tips for pet owners to keep their dogs and cats very safe. Or maybe you own a restaurant and a new food trend has been talked about in the national media. You can link to a video from a TV station and tell your contacts how you've added some trendy items to your menu. Yes, that noise in the background, if you can hear it, is my husband doing his shipping, his eBay shipping, and that's the tape. All right, there are a lot of different places online where you can find content to share through your email, so I apologize about the background noise. First, you can read your local and regional news. Maybe you've been mentioned, or maybe you have something to say about going on in your community. A lot of news sites offers their recent content for free. So just make sure that if you link to content on a news site, it's not something you need a subscription to read. Or what else I've noticed is when I click on content from other people, sometimes it'll take me to go read the content, but then a pop-up screen interrupts the reading of it, and then that is annoying. So I try to avoid using sites that have pop-ups for curating content. Now you can read blogs related to your field, and one way to easily gather lots of blog posts is through Feedly. And that is a service that agitates blogs from all over the place. So you can select about, it's Feedly, Feedly. And you should follow others on social media. This is a world of almost indefinite. I mean, there is just so many possibilities when you follow people on social media. So let's go back to that animal shelter example. They would want to follow other shelters like the ASPCA, pet retailers, and other animal advocacy groups and share content from those sources. That makes sense. Also, set up Google alerts. Google will agitate pages that mention a phrase you've created an alert for. So you should definitely set one using your organization's name to keep an eye on what people are saying about you online. And then subscribe to other email lists. This is a great way to get ideas for content and see what other people are sharing. Side note, my personal experience is I have an email that I designed on Gmail, and it's just like an anonymous type email, and I actually use that to go subscribe to competitors' email newsletters. And then when it's marketing day, I can open up that email and then take a look at all the ads that have come in. And I can also go look at the spam folder for that and see what kind of newsletters were sent to the spam folder, and you'd be amazed at how much you can learn. I don't use my master email for that because, of course, it's too many emails. So when you're subscribing to tons of newsletters, so that works really well for me. Just wanted to share. And don't forget to give credit to the original source and let people know why you're sharing the content. So some people have asked whether it's plagiarism to share content by other people, and the answer is definitely not. As long as you cite your source, you can share what's publicly available. You're actually helping the source broaden their audience by sharing their content with your audience. So the difference between sharing and plagiarism is citing the source. If you were to copy and paste someone's blog post and pass it off as your own without mentioning the source, then yes, you'd be plagiarizing. So always give credit where credit is due. One way to get creative and get great content to easily be shared over email and on social media is to have others create it for you. So you can do that by sharing behind-the-scenes videos of photos, like this one from the Avenue Gallery showing one of their employees loading a painting to be transported. You can also use client or customer testimonials. There are a few ways you can approach these. You can ask a client to share their own story on a video or write a paragraph about their experience. Or if you have a place on your website for reviews, you can pull content right from those reviews. You can also compile user-generated content. This Facebook post from this Wekiva Falls RV shares photos from a customer who documented her recent visit. So one way to inspire user-generated content is to create a hashtag. A hashtag is a word or phrase beginning with a pound sign or a hash sign that creates a link connecting all of the posts using that hashtag on a particular social network. You can create your own hashtag by coming up with a unique word or phrase or even your brand name. Make sure you keep it short and don't use any spaces or punctuation, just letters and numbers. So for example, Constant Contact employees use hashtag CTCTLife, and they share pictures and videos of the company culture. And once you've created a hashtag, ask your customers, your clients, members, employees, ask everyone that posts on social media to add the hashtag to their posts. And then you can select your favorites that were from there to share out on your emails. All right, so now we're going to talk about how you can extend your reach beyond your email audience. So once you've decided what content you're going to use in your communications, it's time to share it. This way you extend your reach as much as possible. Using email is one way to share content, but you can also share it through social media. Email marketing tools like Constant Contact make it easy for you to share your content on different social platforms and also for your audience to share your content across their social platforms. So when you're thinking of content to use on social media, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use the content you've already sent in your email and break it up into smaller pieces of content using social media, on social media. So don't worry, this isn't going to translate into a lot of work for you because you're already building out content for your future as you focus on your emails. I love this part. So for example, let's say you're a marketing consultant for a business that runs a lot of events and you've sent an email to those clients with 4 tips about selling more tickets for their event. We'll call that your original email. Next, let's quickly think of a few ways to extend that content by expanding on each tip of its own social media posts. So the tip on sending your invitation in advance could be expanded to a Facebook post about when to send your event invitations. Hanging flyers in your store could be turned into a great infographic on effective flyer design that you share across all your social networks. And advice to post events on Facebook could expand to a blog post on promoting events on Facebook, which you can share across all of your social networks. And a tip about special pricing for VIPs could be repurposed into 5 tweets spread across a week about the things VIPs want. And the beauty about all of this, when they send out to social media, they will actually include a link that goes right to the original email so that they can view it as a web page. I love helping businesses set this up because it's a tool that I really take advantage and I use for my business. So if you need some assistance, shoot me an email. So here's an example of a company, the Grafton Inn in Vermont, that repurposes content. They use this image of a porch swing in their email, which announced summer activities at the inn. They repurposed the photo on Facebook to show their weekly schedule. And on Instagram, they shared it with their followers with a cute caption. So they repurpose this. And you can do the same thing. Take a tip, a quote, an image, or anything that your audience will find interesting and share it on whatever social networks you use. Now, do keep a few things in mind. First, change the content a little bit for each network. And I'm not just talking about its size. Change the caption or text in the post to reflect the style, the etiquette, and the voice for each of those networks. So don't post exactly the same thing in each place. I mean, exactly the same words. Next, don't worry about repetitive because people are following you because they like you. They might miss your post on Facebook, but catch it later on Pinterest. Or they might follow you on Pinterest and not on Facebook. So you need to make sure you're covering all the places people might be for seeing your content. And finally, while we're talking about using multiple social networks, keep in mind that you don't have to use all of them for your business. Just choose the ones that are right for you and for your audience. Excuse me, it's much better to focus on a couple of social networks and do a really good job with them than to have a bunch that you don't have time or manage poorly. And also keep in mind, and I do it myself. Oh, shoot. I forgot to shut off my phone. Sorry about that. Note to self, shut off cell phone. What was I going to say? I can't remember. I don't remember, so I'll skip that part. As my grandma would say, it must have been a lie. All right. When it comes to extending your reach, you want to make sure that you're meeting your audience where they are. So email is a great place to start, but you can reach more people by sharing your email content on all of your social media platforms. So think about it this way. There's probably some overlap between your email content list and your followers on social media, but those groups are not likely to be identical. So also what your followers do on social media, their followers see. If someone likes or comments on your post on Facebook, all of their friends will see that and also see your name. So marketing on social media tends to be less expensive than traditional advertising. It costs, if cost is an issue, you'll get more return on your time, your money, and energy by going first through email and subsequently through Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. Each has its own typical audience and decision process. So you want to start on the social networks that you already use and then begin to move to where your customers and contacts are so that you can leverage the existing network you have on those sites and begin to generate some social visibility along the way. So to be clear, email is part of social media. And if you're doing it right, keeping your message short, making the action or response obvious and simple, and providing access, information, and real value, then you will grow your business. It's a fact. It works very well for me. So the best part of this, if you're a constant contact customer, we make sharing your emails on social media really super easy. So if you're using constant contact, then you want to add the share bar to the top of your emails, And this allows your readers to post a link to your emails on their social media profiles. And add social media buttons that link to your business, your social media profiles. And these buttons are a nice visual reminder for them to click and follow you online. Also remind your audience to share your promotions. Ask them to like you on Facebook, to retweet them on Twitter, or to pin them on Pinterest. Your audience has a lot of influence via word of mouth. And you can get your promotions in front of more people, which are their friends and their family, if they can help spread the word for you. So win-win. Now, Constant Contact does allow you to extend the reach of your emails by using the Social Share tool. Social Share offers a quick and easy way to share an email on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn with suggested posts, messages, images, and the best time to schedule posts based on when your social audience is most active. And it also makes it easy to plan social posts for an email within a monthly calendar. And I do want to point out that when you can schedule all these right from your Constant Contact account. Let me just back up one screen real quick. Not that one. This one. This screen, I love this ability. So this is after you create your email, and then Constant Contact will let you put in more graphics, and then you can put in a few words and then add your hashtag to the words, and then you can click on the calendar and you can have them go out on different days. Like my workshops for Jacksonville, I had them going out with reminders, we still have room, come join us, blah, blah, blah. And then I had them scheduled to go out on my Twitter account on a regular basis. The rules are a little different on Twitter. It's like the sky's the limit. So you can keep putting content out there and with no risk. But on Facebook, you don't want to put it out as often. But if anybody needs assistance with this, I love helping people get this set up because it's so valuable and it's easy to take it. I mean, you may as well take advantage of it. It comes with your Constant Contact account. All right, so now let's talk about the next steps that you can take, and I'll give you the rest of your day back. So remember, when you're thinking about content you want to create from scratch, you're not writing for yourself. That's the bottom line and thing to remember. You're writing for your audience. So use links to direct your audience where you want them to go and make your message relevant, short, and focused with the call to action very clear and easy for them to understand. It can be very helpful to keep a calendar to schedule emails and social media posts ahead of time, and keep that running list of topics that come up in your organization and plan out your publishing schedule in whatever way that works for you and your organization. So there are no hard and fast rules about how you should schedule. Just make sure whatever you do is realistic for your business and yourself. So whether you use an Outlook calendar, a Google Doc, a notes on an app or your mobile device, or a handwritten schedule, or anything else that helps keep you organized. Personally, I use my Google Calendar on my iPhone. If you're using an email marketing service like Constant Contact, you can track which types of content get the most clicks and opens and use that information as a guide for future emails. You can also, from time to time, send out a survey and ask your audience what types of contents they prefer to receive from you. And so if you're lost and you don't know what to add, what kind of content to send, just send a survey and ask them. So poll your audience or your list. So at the beginning of this presentation, I said that email content boils down to a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. You can use this as a really basic outline to create content for any subject that you can think of. Take the last question you answered for a client, a customer, donor, member, volunteer, and develop an email around it using a picture, a paragraph, and a call to action. So let's go back to our first example about the vacation in Hawaii and say our customer question is, what offers are available for renting in Hawaii? So first remember the first picture. Remember, 90% of information absorbed by the brain is visual, so you can illustrate the subject to catch your reader's attention. Don't forget, you can use stock photos, and you don't need to be selling a product to use visuals. The photo of a beautiful seaside cliff in Hawaii grabs the reader and makes her want to learn more about seeing it in person. I know I'd love to go see that. So next, what is it that you need to write? Respond to the last question you were asked. Your paragraph can be just a few words introducing a link, a longer explanation about the subject, or tips to answer the question in a few steps. So in the example, the paragraph explains that rentals are available and that every third night is free. And finally, you need a call to action. What do you want your audience to do in reaction to your email? Come to your business for a consultation, buy a product, register for an event, or donate. Make your call to action prominent and clear. Here, the call to action is a link where readers can go to the vacations company website and see, then hopefully reserve the available rentals in Hawaii. So this will give you also, I know we have some business to customer, so let me just boil this down. Business to business, business to customer. Let's say I own a wine shop and I'm getting a lot of questions about what foods to prepare with rose wine. I can take a photo of a beautiful glass of rose with a meal or of a display in my store, and after that I can write 5 tips for pairing different foods with rose wines. I can even include links to recipes. I'm feeling really crafty if I am. And finally, as my call to action, I could include a coupon for 20% off selected types of rose wine. Business to business, I own a marketing company. One of my clients has asked me about how often they should be posting to Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and Twitter. I can use a word image, a picture with the words laid over it, to easily list the different platforms and the best practices for frequency. Or I could use a cool infographic with that information. That's my image. Then I could write a few sentences explaining that I've written a blog on the subject and include a link to the blog post that is my paragraph, and there's my call to action. So nonprofit. I'm the president of a local conservation group, and a resident has written to ask about the progress of a river cleanup project my group is working on. I can include a before and after photo of that area that was cleaned up in a paragraph describing what is going to happen next, and links for my audience to donate or volunteer. There's my call to action. So from there, I can repurpose my email's content by breaking the subjects down even further into posts on my social media platforms. Don't you love it? It's just such a good win. So if you want to learn more about this or other marketing subjects, you can visit my website, and please feel free to use my contact form. If you're not with Constant Contact right now and you would like a trial, please use my link so that I can get credit. And if you're already using Constant Contact and you'd like to be in my network, I'd love to bring you in. Just shoot me an email, say I want to be in your network, Danna, and then we'll jump on a call and I can help take a look at your account, and I can brainstorm some ideas with you. I am going to be out of town this week, but I am free the rest of the day today if you want to waste no time. So if you have any questions, you can type it real quickly in the question box, or you can contact me directly on my website. You can find me on Facebook.com/Danna Crawford with the number 1. So that's how you find me on social media. And on Twitter, I do share a lot of my eBay listings on Twitter, but I have other things that I share on there as well. So, okay. I see one question came in. Please add me to your network. Yay! Thank you, Miss Robin. I will send you an email, and we can follow up on an email. And yes, I'm free this afternoon. Hi, Danna. Do you have any suggestions of do's and don'ts for subject lines? Yes, you should have been on my subject line presentation the other day, but I can share with you. I can share the link with you if you want to look at that replay. But subject lines, the main thing is that you don't make them too long, and you don't make them boring. So you don't have, oh yes, February newsletter, boring, right? So you want to share tips and make it enticing for them to open it. So you want it exciting. And it's funny, when I put in my subject line, my biggest opening rate is when I put quick note from Danna. and that, or if I just put the word quick and note or quick tip or 3 quick tips, and when I use the word quick, I tend to get a really good open rate. Does Constant Contact do automated emails and also reminders and scheduling? Yes, 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 yes. They do. I love automation. I mean, my life is busy and I can't survive without being able to automate everything. So I use automated emails. I use the automated marketing with Constant Contact as well. And I'd be happy, again, if you're not with them, to set you up. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's actually a coupon code, and we can jump right in on that. If anybody is ready to skip the trial and get busy, then just shoot me an email, because I have a 30% off for the next 3 months coupon code that I'm allowed to use with people from my webinar. So if you need some assistance with that, just shoot me an email. Okay, guys, I'm dying for a cup of coffee right now. So I hope I do these webinars about every day. Now this week, well, tomorrow I'm off to Jacksonville, but I'll be back on Friday and ready for the weekend. I'm looking at my calendar. And then I've got webinars like every day. And then March, I only have a few workshops, and then I'm staying put. So thank you very much, Amy. I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, there's my timer. So go do some marketing. Bye.